Welcome to our Hong Kong Brief Show. I'm your host, Jenny. Today, we kick things off with a bit of a train drama. Hong Kong's East Rail Line faced a technical glitch early Sunday morning, causing delays of up to 15 minutes. The issue near Fo Tan Station involved an engineer's train, which had to be managed before it was finally removed. Luckily, by 8 a.m., trains were back on track, but this incident follows a previous major disruption in February, reminding us that our transit system is still working through some teething problems. Next up, let's talk shopping. Despite a sluggish start to 2023 with retail sales dropping nearly 8%, prime districts like Causeway Bay are still buzzing with activity. Tenants are snapping up spaces at significantly reduced rents, up to 70% since 2014. Experts say rents might dip a little more due to economic uncertainties and fewer tourists, but big brands are still keen on prime locations, making Hong Kong's retail scene quite lively despite the challenges. And in the world of big business, a fierce rivalry has erupted between China's food delivery giants JD.com and Meituan. Both backed by billionaires, these companies are battling it out with claims of unfair practices and rider treatment. The fight has even shaken up their market value by $13 billion. JD is stepping up with creative marketing and better worker benefits, but for now, Meituan still leads the pack. It's a high-stakes game of billionaires versus billionaires, and we're all watching closely. Please continue to watch for more details. According to the South China Morning Post, the Hong Kong East Rail Line experienced significant disruptions due to a technical fault early Sunday morning. An engineer's train near Fo Tan Station caused delays, necessitating trains to operate on a single track between Sha Tin and Fo Tan, which added 10 to 15 minutes to journeys. The incident was compounded by the need to safely remove the stranded train, and despite ongoing efforts, passengers faced extended wait times, with some waiting up to 24 minutes. This event echoed a previous lengthy disruption in February, when a faulty sensor left an engineer's train stationary on the tracks for over 7 hours, prompting lawmakers to call for a review of the penalty system for service delays, as the current mechanism failed to adequately reflect the scale of disruptions. The South China Morning Post also reports on the bleak outlook for Hong Kong's retail rental market amid declining consumer spending. Despite sluggish sales, leasing activity remains vigorous as companies capitalize on relatively low rents that are expected to fall further. Retail sales in the first 2 months of the year declined by 7.8% year-on-year, with notable drops in categories like jewelry and watches. High-profile districts such as Causeway Bay continue to see active leasing, with rents having fallen approximately 70% since their peak in 2014 and even dropping below levels seen during the SARS outbreak in 2003. Landlords are offering discounts to attract tenants amidst rising vacancies and declining market values, with some retail properties, like Prince Jewelry and Watches flagship store, closing due to the downturn. Experts predict rents could decrease by up to 5% this year, reflecting ongoing macroeconomic uncertainties and geopolitical tensions. The South China Morning Post also details the fierce rivalry between China's leading food delivery giants, JD.com and Meituan, which has recently intensified amid a war of words and accusations. JD's founder Richard Liu launched a public campaign claiming that Meituan mistreats restaurants and gig workers, leading to a market value loss of around $13 billion for both companies. The dispute escalated as each side accused the other of blocking delivery riders from accepting orders across platforms and unfair employment practices. JD responded with promises to improve worker benefits, including Social Security and income guarantees, while also launching aggressive marketing strategies, such as publicly working as a delivery driver. Despite JD's rapid growth, surpassing 10 million daily orders across 166 cities, the market remains dominated by Meituan, which handles over 60 million daily orders and holds a 65% market share. The fierce competition underscores the intense rivalry in China's burgeoning food delivery sector, driven by the involvement of tech giants vying for dominance amid challenging economic conditions. South China Morning Post reports that Hong Kong is considering a new incentive scheme to encourage the reporting of tenancy abuse in public housing. Since its launch in mid-January, the scheme has received nearly 3,900 reports, with about 1,700 opting for cash rewards of up to 3,000 Hong Kong dollars. After initial screening, approximately 700 cases are being pursued for further investigation, with successful cases leading to notices to quit and potential rewards. The Housing Department emphasizes that rewards are carefully reviewed to prevent misuse, and the scheme aims to foster public support in safeguarding housing resources. Despite a high volume of initial reports, officials note that verified cases of abuse remain low, accounting for only 2% of households investigated in the past year. Long-term, authorities plan to rely more on regular income and asset checks rather than reporting schemes, which have served as an initial tool to identify abuse, especially following recent measures requiring tenants to declare assets and income biennially. Nikkei Asia highlights Hong Kong Disneyland's ambitious plans for expansion to sustain its growth and attract more visitors, especially from Southeast Asia. The park, dubbed the world's smallest Disney theme park, is set to break ground on new attractions and seek to acquire adjacent government land, including a 60-hectare plot critical for larger developments. The park's management aims to leverage its recent profit turnaround, its first in a decade, driven by the successful Frozen-themed area, to justify further expansion. Discussions with shareholders, including the Hong Kong government which owns 52%, are underway to fund this growth, with the goal of boosting inbound tourism amid stiff regional competition from Shanghai Disneyland and Universal Beijing Resort. The government hopes that these developments will diversify visitor sources beyond Hong Kong and mainland China, countering the effects of recent political tensions and economic challenges that have dampened tourism. SCMP opinion advocates for stricter traffic enforcement in Hong Kong by raising fines for dangerous driving and illegal parking, amidst rising road accidents and fatalities. The government's proposal to increase penalties, including a hike in parking fines from 320 Hong Kong dollars to 400 Hong Kong dollars and a 50% increase in speeding fines, aims to improve road safety and deter reckless behavior. Official statistics reveal a 40% increase in traffic deaths in the first quarter of the year, with illegal parking remaining a persistent problem. While concerns about economic impacts and parking shortages are acknowledged, experts argue that higher fines are overdue, especially since Hong Kong's penalties are comparatively low against international standards. The increased fines are expected to generate additional revenue, but the primary goal is to reduce dangerous driving, protect public safety, and align with global best practices. The South China Morning Post vividly recounts the tumultuous life of Tina Knowles, Beyoncé's mother, as she opens up about her past relationships in her memoir, Matriarch. Oprah Winfrey's recent interview with Knowles revealed the raw honesty in her storytelling, especially regarding her marriage to her first husband, Matthew Knowles, which was marred by infidelity yet characterized by a deep friendship. Knowles' subsequent marriage to Richard Lawson, an accomplished actor and Vietnam War veteran, was filled with love and support but ultimately ended in 2023 due to irreconcilable differences. Knowles hinted at feelings of jealousy and the emotional toll of their union, yet she remains optimistic about her future, sharing that she is currently spending time with a very nice gentleman, highlighting her resilience and capacity for new beginnings. In a compelling profile from the South China Morning Post, Michelle Morone's journey from humble beginnings in Italy to international stardom is portrayed with romantic enthusiasm. Morone, the charismatic star of 365 Days, emphasizes his obsession with life and passions, balancing acting, music, and fashion with infectious enthusiasm. His rise to fame was swift and intense, marked by a close bond with Blake Lively and genuine friendships with fellow actors like Ryan Reynolds. Moroney's reflections reveal a grounded personality, emphasizing the importance of staying true to oneself amid Hollywood's glitz. As a father, he advocates for normalcy and passion-driven pursuits for his children, underscoring his belief that authenticity and hard work are what truly define success. The South China Morning Post also delves into the tragic story of Aaron Carter, spotlighting his ex-fiancée Melanie Martin's tumultuous relationship with the pop star. Their relationship, marked by passionate highs and heartbreaking lows, was complicated by substance abuse, domestic violence allegations, and custody battles over their son, Princeton. Carter's struggles with addiction and mental health culminated in his untimely death in 2022, caused by inhalation of toxic gases linked with drug use. Melanie Martin, who has since become an influential social media personality and entrepreneur, recounts the pain of losing Carter and the chaos that enveloped their relationship. Her story underscores the devastating impact of fame, addiction, and mental health struggles on families, highlighting her resilience as she rebuilds her life post-tragedy. The South China Morning Post vividly recounts the tragic death of a 77-year-old man in Hong Kong after being struck by a car that unexpectedly mounted the pavement. The incident occurred on Lung Ma Road, where a 51-year-old driver lost control of his vehicle, causing it to veer onto the sidewalk and hit the pedestrian. The footage captures the horrifying moment as the white car crashes into the man, destroying roadside railings and severely injuring him with head trauma. Despite urgent medical efforts, the elderly victim was declared dead shortly after arriving at North District Hospital, underscoring the devastating consequences of dangerous driving and the ongoing police investigation into the incident. The same publication offers a reassuring perspective on Hong Kong's economic resilience amidst the US-China tariff conflict. According to the Trade Development Council, only a small fraction, about 3%, of Hong Kong's exports to the US are affected by tariffs, representing a mere half of the city's total exports to that country. Despite the escalated trade tensions, Hong Kong has strategically diversified its markets, with exports to ASEAN and the Middle East surging by nearly 40%, and overall exports rising by 17% from 2017 to 2024. The report emphasizes that while the trade war has shaken business confidence, Hong Kong's unique role as a bridge between mainland China and the global economy, coupled with its participation in the Greater Bay Area, positions it favorably to leverage new opportunities beyond the U.S. market. The South China Morning Post also vividly captures the global outpouring of grief at the funeral of Pope Francis, the beloved Pope of the people, held in Vatican City. An immense crowd of over 250,000 gathered in St. Peter's Square, with many waiting overnight to pay their respects. The funeral service, conducted mainly in Latin, featured a poignant prayer in Mandarin, marking a historic first, symbolizing Pope Francis' efforts to foster dialogue with China. Attended by world leaders including President Zelensky, Prince William, and former U.S. President Trump, the funeral celebrated his warm, approachable style and commitment to inclusivity. The inclusion of Mandarin in the prayers reflected the late pontiff's hope for better relations with China, especially following the 2018 provisional agreement on bishop appointments. In Hong Kong, local Catholics watched the event live, emphasizing the global significance of his legacy and the enduring hope for harmony and understanding across cultures. South China Morning Post reports a heartwarming rescue in Sham Shui Pa, where Hong Kong police successfully recovered a stolen tabby cat from a local food store after a thorough investigation that included reviewing CCTV footage. The suspects, a woman and a man both in their early 40s, were detained but later released on bail, and the cat, which had been in the store for 3 years, was returned to its owners. This incident underscores the importance of vigilance and community cooperation in protecting property, as shop staff only realized the theft after examining security footage, highlighting how modern surveillance can aid in safeguarding both property and beloved pets. The same publication highlights a concerning rise in traffic accidents involving elderly taxi drivers in Hong Kong, with a 43% increase since 2022. Figures reveal that more than 600 drivers aged 70 or above were involved in accidents last year, prompting calls for stricter medical assessments to ensure road safety. Advocates suggest regular health checks focusing on vision, hearing, and cardiac health, similar to regulations in mainland China, Britain, and Canada, where older drivers face periodic medical evaluations. Industry insiders, like the chairman of the Taxi Owners Association, defend the experience of senior drivers but acknowledge the potential risks, advocating for government subsidies to facilitate health screenings and prevent a looming driver shortage due to overly restrictive policies. Virginia Giuffre, renowned for her vocal accusations against Jeffrey Epstein and Prince Andrew, tragically died by suicide at age 41, as reported by South China Morning Post. Her family described her as a lifelong victim of sexual abuse and sex trafficking who endured immense suffering, which ultimately became unbearable. Giuffre's courageous lawsuits against Epstein, Maxwell, and others exposed high-profile allegations of abuse and trafficking, shaking the foundations of the elite circles involved. Her death marks a poignant moment in the ongoing fight against exploitation, inspiring many to continue raising awareness and supporting victims. Her legacy as a resilient advocate for justice endures, reminding us of the importance of mental health awareness and the need for accessible help for those in crisis. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Morning coffee, fresh off the press. Reading headlines, feeling blessed. World keeps turning, stories unfold. Every moment news gets told. Flipping channels, clicking tabs, feeding my mind's hunger grabs. got to know. Never stopping, always go. Scrolling, swiping, reading on. Daylight breaks in the dawn. Headlines and headlines, can't get it.